Not every Tycoon game is worth the investment. So here is part 2 of Tycoon games worth your money. 1. Game Dev Tycoon. Starting the list with a classic. Game Dev Tycoon is the ultimate management experience. You start as a single developer and a founder of your studio. Develop your first engine and the game. Get your first fans and reviews, and start selling your game. After each released game, you will get a rating from media outlets and critics. This can drastically impact the market situation of your game. Once your game starts making enough money, you can upgrade to new and bigger studios with multiple employees and other amenities requiring your management. Become the biggest fish in the gaming industry, develop true masterpieces, and get fans hooked for many years. You can also build hype for your upcoming games by taking interviews, participating in expos, etc. You'll surely have a blast with this one. The game has an overwhelmingly positive rating on Steam. 2. Factorio. Did you miss the Industrial Revolution in the 18th century? No matter, Factorio will make you feel like you are the revolutionizer. Build factories that will manufacture products with more and more complexity. Use your creative mind to build the factory of your dreams. The world is limitless, so the only limit is your creativity. Besides the factory construction, you need to collect resources, find ways to automate production, and fight enemies. In the beginning, you'll do everything with your bare hands, but soon everything will run autonomously. The game also has a huge modding community. The mods can change the game drastically. Besides mods, there is a DLC called Space Age that allows you to continue your journey in space and explore new worlds with unique challenges. And finally, there is a custom map editor, and the game supports co-op multiplayer mode. We're sure you'll have a blast. The game rocks almost 170,000 reviews on Steam and holds an overwhelmingly positive rating. 3. Planet Coaster. Planet Coaster is another awesome tycoon that puts you in charge of a theme park. Just like in Roller Coaster Tycoon, your goal is to create a park enjoyed by many that will bring revenue as tall as Mount Everest. Every visitor in the park has their own needs, interests and desires. Build rides, carousels, walking paths, dining areas and other amenities to keep your guests entertained and wanting more. To help you with that, you can use landscape sculpturing to level some ground to build a station. Another great feature is the ability to create, share and import creations from Steam Workshop. Did you like someone's ride? Just use it in your park. Or maybe you prefer to share your creations for the world to see. 4. Megaquarium. Now it's time we move a bit closer to the sea. Megaquarium does just that. Instead of running a theme park this time, we must manage a water theme park. As usual, you start small with just a few fishes and aquariums, and your goal is to create a thriving empire with many fish and guests to watch your water emporium. The wildlife selection is quite big, with almost 100 species to select from, like sharks, jellyfish and even turtles. For every visitor, you get points that will allow you to unlock new fish and hardware, upgrade your water zoo and take it to the next level. Just like in real life, hire employees, but you have to be extra careful if your employee can do the job you want him to perform. Otherwise, maybe you should find a replacement. 5. Prison Architect. Become the ruthless warden. Do not let anyone escape. Welcome to prison. In Prison Architect, you build your prison and manage its employees, resources and inmates. Optimize the isolation and people flow to not lose any capacity during unexpected events. Apply for funds from the federal government and invest this money to fight gang influences and disease, or even solve court disputes. Your team is also your backbone. Invest in the heavily armed guards, doctors, psychologists, lawyers, and even collaborators. Remember that every prisoner has committed different crimes, so treat them accordingly. Give them proper work, medical care, and even re-socialization workshops. Another cool feature is that you can escape from your prison or try your skills in prisons made by other players on Steam Workshop. 6. Frostpunk. Turn up the intensity and head into the frozen apocalypse with Frostpunk. This isn't a typical city builder. It's a survival strategy game where your leadership could mean the difference between life and death for your entire society. Frostpunk is set in an alternate 19th century, where a catastrophic winter has wiped out most of humanity. Your job? Lead the last city on Earth by managing resources, making tough morale decisions, and ensuring your citizens don't freeze to death. You'll have to decide whether to enforce child labour laws, ration food, or impose harsh curfews. Do you keep hope alive through kindness, or maintain order with an iron fist? The game revolves around a central generator, which is the heart of your city. Without it, everyone dies. So you'll need to gather coal, build shelters, and research technology to keep the generator running. The game is like playing chess against the apocalypse. 7. RimWorld. RimWorld is more than the usual base building game, it's a story generator. Imagine this, you and a small group of colonists crash land on a mysterious alien world. You've got limited supplies, a few basic tools, and the goal of building a thriving colony from scratch. Every decision you make affects, and no two games are ever the same. You'll manage your colonists' needs, moods and personalities. One colonist might be a brilliant scientist with a fragile ego, while another could be a hardened soldier who doesn't get along with anyone. And then there are the random events. Alien raids, toxic fallout, and even killer squirrels that can wreak havoc on your base. Choose your AI storyteller. For example, Randy Random. He'll throw the weirdest, most chaotic events at you just for fun. One day you're blessed with free supplies, and the next a colonist might get abducted by aliens. This game is all about adapting to the unexpected. 8. Oxygen Not Included. Next is the brilliantly chaotic Oxygen Not Included, developed by Klee Entertainment. Yet the same masterminds behind Don't Starve. But trust me, this is a whole different level of madness. Imagine managing a growing space colony where oxygen doesn't just magically exist. You've got to create it, store it, and distribute it properly to prevent suffocation. This game is a survival puzzle wrapped in layers of resource management, logistics, and scientific discovery. Every decision you make has consequences. If you don't balance resources, your colonists will suffer. But that's what makes this game so rewarding, the challenge. As your base grows, you unlock more tech and automate systems. Watching your colony evolve from barely functioning to a finely tuned machine is incredibly satisfying. When things go wrong, they go really wrong. You could have food shortages, power failures, and pipes bursting simultaneously. But that's the fun of it. It's a constant test of your ability to adapt under pressure. 9. 2 Point Campus. Now we're leaving the deep underground and head into school, 2 Point Campus, the sequel to the widely popular 2 Point Hospital. This game lets you design and run your very own university, but don't expect boring lectures. You'll have students majoring in courses like gastronomy, where they learn to cook massive pizzas, or night school, where students train to be literal knights in shining armour. There's also wizardry, robotics, and even clown studies. And it's not just about building classrooms and dorms. You have to balance student happiness, hire skilled professionals, and keep the campus profitable, while throwing wild events to keep morale high. The beauty of 2 Point Campus is its mix of humour and depth. Every student has unique needs, quirks, and traits. Ignore their well-being and you might end up with dropouts, bad grades, and protests that can disrupt your campus. 10. Dave the Diver. Last but not least, Dave the Diver is the surprise indie hit that blends Tycoon gameplay with underwater exploration, action, and a bit of sushi-making chaos. In this game, you play as Dave, a laid-back driver with a knack for adventure. By day, you dive into the depths of the ocean, hunting for exotic fish, uncovering underwater secrets, and finding hidden treasures. By night, you're the head chef and manager of a sushi bar that you have to upgrade, staff, and grow. It's the perfect blend of action and Tycoon elements. The game has a quirky storyline and hilarious characters. Also, it doesn't take itself too seriously, and that's part of its charm. One moment, you're dodging sharks and catching rare fish, and the next, you're designing sushi menus, serving customers, and upgrading your restaurant decor. The game constantly throws surprises at you, and that keeps things fresh.